Hello, my dwarven brothers and sisters. I hope that your beards will be long, your ale will be strong, and your treasure will be boundless. I created a fortress here at the great drain pumps of the lower deeps, and I've seen a lot of cool bases, a lot of cool places, but I haven't seen one here. Durin's Keep was pretty cool that I've seen. Durin's Forge, the Great Forge of Narvi. I've seen a cool base at the Armory on the 3rd floor, in the central place of the Elven Quarter, but I've not seen this redone, and so I've made a really cool fortress, and I'm going to probably just take you straight through as a tour. I'm going to have 2 gameplay tips that were really meaningful and important for me. So the first one is, you notice I have
monsters in the air!
I have a cool outfit here, and I'm actually wearing my mithril helmet, but it doesn't look like it. And this is the first important game tip, is your wardrobe here actually allows you to switch out your helmet while maintaining the armor rating of the helmet you actually have on. Meaning, I can have the utility of the miner's helmet while wearing a mithril helmet. And what I'm actually wearing is Durin's armor and the mithril helmet, because of the shadow defense from Durin's is nice against the orc raids. And what I like it looking like, though, is the Belagast helmet Shire. And the armor then is the Khazad armor with the Shire. So that's a cool little gameplay tip. And I see that there's some prey up there. So I'm actually going to take him out real quick. Oh, that's way too high. Hide is premium, so very important. Try to make this, the lights are a distraction, and they make it hard to see where you're actually supposed to walk. And on either side, if I pull out my light, is a drop into the deep where the Watcher probably is living. You know, so down there somewhere is the Watcher. And here we have these adamant pillars that I custom made for this little area. See that? And they're just floating there. They're sunk down way into the depths so they can function. So the idea is that, you know, as they're traveling across, if an army is coming in, traveling across, they can easily slip and fall into this on either side. And even before they get here, they've lost many ranks because you're showering arrows down at them. They're trying to get by, they can't see. Maybe the Watcher is summoned or released. And it's very hard to attack this. And once you get here proper, once I cross this line, I'm in Hearth radius now, it lightens up. And this is where, if you do have a few brave souls that want to come out and do battle with the hordes as they enter, this is the battle arena, so to speak. Pretty cool. So as I'm fighting the orcs that are raiding me, I have kind of a cool visual thing happening with the water as I'm fighting them. And the second tip that I have has to do with this. So right here along this line is actually where the Hearth line is. So if I cross over to here, it'll go dark because I'm no longer in Hearth range. And if I go over here, it'll brighten up again because I'm back within Hearth radius. I don't know why the game does this, but these 3 tiles wide, the enemies will spawn on. They will not spawn on this long stretch, 1 tile wide. I don't know why, but it has to be these 3 tiles wide, and they'll spawn here for whatever reason. And I'll get more into that as we go. But for now, let's enter into what I've called the RavenCrest Hall, also known as IlúvatarKeep. But the RavenCrest Hall is the hall that you sing about when you're mining sometimes. The hum-da-day-die-um. If you know how the ditty goes, you can get a tall glass of ale and a good night rest for free. So this is the RavenCrest Hall, also known as IlúvatarKeep, as in Eru Ilúvatar, the creator of everything, the one God King. And so what you'll notice is if I build a stone hearth, you can actually see the hearth radius right there. And if I want the enemies to stop spawning, I'll actually build this hearth right here, and it's extended out a bit of ways, and now the enemies will actually stop spawning. So they'll fully stop spawning during raids. It won't stop enemies spawning from over there, but it will stop them from spawning during raids. I like the raids though, so I want to keep the spawn on for loot purposes and just for fun purposes.
We got orcs!
But yeah, you can kind of a cool little, you know what? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you me knocking these guys into the water because it's kind of fun. So.
Moria is ours! That's all you got?
There you go. That's it. Piece of cake. So you'll notice, before we get into the main base, that I really spent a lot of time playing with light. So really cool panorama of the base from here. Spent a lot of time playing with light. So I'm not going to actually have a light source out while I'm doing the tour, because I want you to see, you know, instead of having my shield light out here, the Aragian shield, I believe it's the Aragian, right? Yeah. I just want you to see the light changing and how it plays. I underlit these columns, I backlit the wall, I lit up the top of the ceiling so you can see a lot of cool architecture. I've tried to play with light a lot. I've tried to create it lore friendly, and I've tried to use as much of the native flora, fauna, and structures that I could. So all the stuff that was already here, I try to build in as much as possible. So as enemies are coming in, this is the main first line of defense. You have two soldiers hanging out here. They have some crossbows waiting for them. If they make it past the 2-layer adamant gate, you can throw oil onto them. You can shoot them with bows. If they make it past the that one right there, the third adamant gate, then you know you still have a downhill battle to win. You know, very hard to battle up into this, and of course they probably wouldn't make it this far, and I've actually not even had anyone come close to breaking the first door, so to break through 3 would be unheard of. Anyway, so as you come up into here, we are actually facing south. So this is north. That means that this is the west wing, and this is the east wing, and this is the central corridor or throne room. So suppose I can do a little ditty for that. Do a little dance for the corridor, right? Da 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 da. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'll take you into the throne room, then we'll go into the west wing first, and then we'll go into the east wing. So here we have during the second and during the first labeled. They're the ones that began this building project originally. And here is the grand throne room, as it were. You have your memorial flames on either side of the grand throne room. Very cool RavenCrest flags, the purple raven flags, to go align with the idea that this is the RavenCrest Hall, or the tavern that you sing about, that if you know the ditty, you can get a good night's sleep and a full cup of ale for free. And so, if you notice over here, I've done some interesting work with a smithy. I've clipped it into a really neat thing using build order mechanics. And here, I've built my rune table off of the lever. So there's the lever that you pull to actually do the Great Drain Pipes mission. I have my lures on either side, and I built it into this, creating a really cool sort of mechanical looking runic empowerment table. Really interesting, fun lore looking, really cool runic table area. Here's my first 2 weapons, my axe and my pickaxe that I used. early on. And you see the ironwood. I try to use ironwood and stone as much as possible because we are dwarves after all. You know, that's the idea, is we don't just we don't use wood if we can help it. We use stone. We are creatures of stone and fire. So then we have these tubes, functioning, doing all types of things. That one's powering the place. We'll get into that in a second though. So then we come up to the second level of the keep, and the idea here is that this is where guards would hang out. They would be all along here stationed, maybe a few. They can watch from the shadows, so it's much darker up here. They can watch from the shadows and just watch any suspicious people come in, and they'd get an arrow to the knee if they were suspicious enough or tried anything cheeky. Now we go up into the third floor of the throne room. And here you have where guests would stay, and you have the Raven crest and the Raven banner, of course. You have a cool little hearth set up with all different types of things. Can be very comfortable in here, hang out, equipped even with a nightlight. This was me playing around with different ways of lighting, and I thought that was kind of a neat little touch. And there you go. Now this room actually doubles up as sort of a prison / you tuck away strangers that you don't totally trust yet, because if you notice, there's no way out other than this door here, and you would station sort of some soldiers or guards here that would protect them, right, but also protect from them coming down. Right, they couldn't do anything sneaky then. So then we go down into the first level of the throne room. So this is the main hall, throne room, the central corridor. And as we continue traveling south, we enter into the grand dining hall. So I'll give you a peek of it, and then I'll just kind of walk you through what I was thinking. So here you go, fresh water, critical for any sustained defense. You have your hearths on either side with mithril weapons. You have your banners drop down from the wood pedestals. Cool woodwork if you notice, because above here there's a little elvish thing that I'll show you in a second. Braziers are clipped into the wood paneling, so then I put light behind them to light up those things. I built a really cool little place to slide the hearse into. So I didn't put the tiled hearse down, I built a really cool thing for them to slide into that actually goes up into this next level above us, where there's a little chimney spot. The water is accessible by stairs, and the water actually pours out into the kitchen area. But before we get to the kitchen area, one more cool thing. You'll see that there's a tube up here coming from the fresh water, and the tube comes along right here, and it goes all the way over here. And then you have these alchemy stills, which actually what's happening in my mind is that, I'm going to look what they're actually called. Is that right? Yeah, alchemic stills? Alchemic stills. Anyway, you put what you want into these, and then as the water comes through here, it is instilled with that, and just a creative use of this particular building element, and then it comes down under into this tube, and then these tubes feed into these two kegs. And the kegs aren't just placed here, they have drop ceilings, which is pretty cool, woodwork above them. These are the two main kegs that I drink from, Miravar and Hobgoblin, one for HP regen, one for stamina. And then another cool building element that I've left in there is that little metal, copper, whatever thing. I don't know exactly what is it happening lore-wise, but it's neat looking. It's doing something. And you have the rocks here on either side. So that's the grand dining hall. Now we come into the kitchen. And the kitchen, this is a work area. So you would prepare your meals here. Right next to, of course, the grand dining hall that seats the 14. You have 3 ovens, you have 2 stoves, a roasting pit, tables to work, to cut, a giant hearth, 4 grist mills, and anything you need to be a successful chef and cook for many people. We have a few meals that are cooking here. Mostly what I eat is lembas. I don't really sleep. If you notice, this is day 319 now, and so by day 150, I think I completed the game, and so I've been building for 179 days, I guess. So yeah, 179 of straight building is what it took. Plus I was building during the campaign as I progressed. Anyway, so here we have a really cool backlit tree. You have a light above and a light underneath, and so you have a cool ambiance that's coming from it. You have your wander keg. You have your tubes coming off of here. And actually this tube didn't render in for some reason. It used to go there. But so it comes through, right, the hearth, and it's doing something for the hearth. I'm not sure what, but the idea is that there's something happening there, lore-wise, right? Really cool structure above it, sort of a machine above it to do something interesting and cool, maybe sucking the air out so that the smoke goes somewhere helpful or useful or just out. And then you have your King's Brew tanks, one with mulled cider, one with I think Dawnbreak, Dawnbreak Pale Ale, tucked into and clipped into the adamant. So I built these structures first, and then I tucked the King's Brew tank into them. So kind of a neat build tale that I can show you real quick. So what I wanted to show you was that if I build an adamant granite or wood and stone structure first, so if I build a little, I don't know, decorative thing here, I don't know, something like that, and maybe I add bowed lattice above it, somewhere right here. I can actually do something really cool with a map stone. So I can kind of clip it into the lattice here, right? It's having some trouble clipping into the bottom. So build order matters, like I was saying, like I can clip it into the lattice, no problem. Pretty neat. But what's even cooler, I think, is it depends on where you're standing. So I can actually clip it into the granite here. So here we have a map stone that is essentially built into the ironwood and granite. So look at that. That is pretty cool, isn't it? Totally accessible, and you can do some pretty cool things by clipping other stuff in this way. All right. So we will continue on with our tour, though. So that's how I did these brew tanks, is I built the structure and I clipped them into the structure. This is probably my favorite part of the build, even though it's very simple. Beautiful things don't need to be complicated, right? We have quartz here that's just naturally showing up, coupled with the really neat blue vases. Gives us a really cool blue area. I put purple lights over to the side and above to sort of add some color depth to it, and then I put blue lights underneath here to underlight, so you have some really cool shadows on the mushroom trees. Really cool spot that I imagine that a dwarf would come and perhaps play a game of cards or read a book or, I don't know, do dwarf stuff. So that's a pretty cool little area. Alright, now we come to the furthest west section of our western loop. We have our little guard area along with our pier. So, man, there's just so many good things out there. I've got to shoot them. Hide is... why is that not killing it? Hide is premium, and I really appreciate the fact that they spawn right there. Anyway, so like I was saying, This is a little pier area. You can have a private conversation. If you notice, there's underlit the adamant. You can see one peeking out right there. And so it gives interest without you actually realizing that it's happening. But all these little specialty lighting spots adds interest to these locations. And if you notice, there's a little weapon rack here for anyone, if some cheeky goblins or orcs get by, start to run alongside you and think that they're going to get in. First line of defense, fight, fight, fight. And if they get by, you fall back to the secondary defensive wall. Built a nice little lookout area around this giant pre-built column. You'll notice that I have lots of different purple lights, iolite lights underneath here. And iolite is one of those things that I actually needed to go to the warehouse to get. There's a warehouse map that you can go to get supplies that you're running low on. And everything else in this map, I mined myself, forgot myself. But iolite was not one of them. So here's the furthest west second floor, the west wing second floor. Now if you notice, there's a garden area down there. There's an Elbereth's blessing area in the far back there. Backlighting on the kegs. You can access the kegs from here. Pretty cool area. The ceiling is lit up, so you can see the ceiling. The tubes are, all pushing through and working. You have it lit. You have the garden all set up. Pretty cool. So you can access your different brew tanks from here. It tells you what to actually brew is the malt cider. So you can access it from there too. This one is the Dawnbreaker. Come down here. Another interesting gameplay tip. If you want to garden quickly, figure out the order in which these items will appear, the different plants will appear in your hotbar. For instance, I know that this one will appear first, Thanatsum will appear first, then Kuzdul Oats will appear second, then Owlay Bloom will appear last. So what I do is I replant the Owlay Bloom first, so we'll just do 3 to show you. And I just pressed E twice really fast, and I know that Kuzdul will show up next, right? So see, Owlay is second now, and so because Kuzdul Oats will show up second, I can just again press E really fast. And I know Thanatsums are going to show up at the end, or first, so I harvest them last, so I can just press E twice again really fast. So if I wanted to, I would harvest all the Owlay and replant it all at once. Harvest all the Kuzdul, plant it all at once, then all of this Thanatsum, and plant it all at once. And so you can actually set your crops up in order of what you want to harvest, or you can memorize the order of what to harvest. So that's kind of what I've done with a lot of these. Anyway, so your mushrooms are up there in the dark, and your light crops are down here in the light. And really, the only crops that I like are mushrooms, and then these 5 down here. I haven't found great use for the others, and truly all I use is these 2 over here, Owlay and Kuzdul Oats, because they make lembas, and lembas is really all you need, because you don't need to sleep, eat once you're on it, and it is like crack cocaine for a dwarf. Anyway, you have access, so now we're right above the grand dining hall. Right here is where the table is, so if you see on either side, the raised area is where the smoke is coming out from the hearths, so providing some heat right around this area, kind of a nice little area. You have the brewmaster's area, along with some more Ravenclaw stuff going on there. You have the brew tanks accessible with what you would brew in them. And then you have a really cool elven area that I've purposely used a lot of wood to decorate the green with the lamp behind it. And if you look, right, lattice work all coming up through it. This is how you access it on either side, double staircase up to it. And so that is the second floor. of the West Wing. And I'm going to wait to show you what's all the way at the top to the very end because it's pretty cool. I'm going to hop down here. And we're going to approach the front from the other side now. And I'm going to show you a little surprise. So for those who have been discerning, you may have noticed that we actually walked around a room. See that room right there? We actually walked all the way around it, and I didn't ever show it to you. That's because it's hidden. It is a secret room with a secret entrance. And if you notice, right, you can kind of see it showing up right there behind the banner. If you walk through, this is actually not a real banner, it is just an illusion. So you walk through into the Grand Library. This is where, you know, the dwarves of the RavenCrest Hall keep their secret brew recipes and their history and whatnot. So a pretty cool little area here. And then on the other side, you have what powers the base. Again, this is just an illusion. So as you walk through, you have the Durin spot. So Durin the 3rd is here, Durin the 4th is here, and then you have Durin the 5th and 6th right over here. And then you have 2 Durin's lamps on either side. And those are powering many different devices. We're not sure, right? But the tubes go up and out into different sections of the base, providing Durin's light and power to the different parts. So that one goes up into this somehow and goes and does something, who knows what, right? But this is the idea, is that this is sort of a sacred place with Durin's axe right there. Although I also have one, just ignore that. The gilded ceilings. Gold is actually surprisingly easy to mine, although at first it's like really precious. Later on it becomes literally as common as iron. So I got to really have a lot of fun with gilded things and doors and that, so I was able to mine a lot of gold. Yeah, that's kind of a cool little area, a little sneaky spot. Now as we come out and we go to our left instead of to the right, we come into, there's a staircase going up to the 2nd floor of the East Wing, but this is our East Wing, and this floor of our East Wing is our main workshop. So I'm going to stand here to kind of give a cool look. You see the pit there, the shadow creeping in. You have all the armors back there. You have all 6 mithril weapons with the 3 flags, 1 RavenCrest flag and 2 honor flags. Then you have the pipe going along the grand furnaces, the Uhusum, what are they? Ufuhan furnaces. And you have the pipe going along here that acts as a automatic bellows for these furnaces. You have your salt baths, your forges, bellows there, keeping it up. Some different armors. The armor is backlit by torches and then also by some lights that are hidden, so kind of looks neat. Again, this is backlit by torches, but also some hidden lights. Here I've clipped in a work table into a cool little area. And the idea here is that as the shadow creeps in, you can actually test your gear and what you've crafted against the shadow to see how it works. I've clipped a smithy into here that's fully accessible. Actually, I'll repair my stuff right now. Why not? And fully accessible through it, and kind of a cool little way to make a smithy instead of just having a normal smithy. This is all my food. All my items that I could ever need are stored just in these little spots here. You know, you don't need a lot of stuff, to be honest, right? The stuff that I've needed the most of, which has been surprising, has been iron ore. Tin was really hard for me to come by. Bat droppings was a big deal. And then iolite, like I said, iolite was the only thing I had to mine from another server called a warehouse server that's made by Lionheart, which was very helpful. Hammer up there if you need it. And then all the different mithril weapons have their own different enchants on them. So again, a look at the Grand Forge, maybe from right here. Kind of a cool little view of it. So get to that second layer when we get to it. Then you have this little spot where the extra little furnaces are. A spot for my hammers, a spot for my pickaxes, a spot for the quarry master. I removed one tile from each of those, trying to see what would happen if I underlit it. It's not too amazing, but you know, I just wanted to see, playing with light and whatnot. And then you enter into the first floor of the main treasure hall, and you have the gilded floor above, over all of these different treasure hoards, and lots of different treasure hoards. This is from mining gold, and also from all the different times I've been raided. I kill the raids every time. It's fun for me. I like it. It's exciting. So get a lot of gold that way. This is where you would actually do a lot of your artisan crafting, right? Your ink grinding. You would take the treasure, make really fabulous weaponry and crafts. Maybe you want to weave it into things or create fine thread from different items. But of course, if you're working as an artisan and you are under attack, you're going to grab a steel battle axe because you're still a dwarf with a beard to defend, right? Right. And although treasure is valuable, this isn't the true treasure. The gold is not the true treasure. Oh, pro tip, right? Another cool thing, so that you'll notice this is 6 of 6. All I've done is put one gem into each of these, and that's it. I don't know if it lasts as long as it did if it was full, but you actually don't need to fill it all the way to get 6 out of 6. So you come out of the first floor. We'll go up onto the second floor right away, but it goes out into a cool area down there. Really cool view. So I teased you with the second floor of the treasure room. What really is the true treasure? If that's the not so true treasure, what is up here then, right? That's the question. Any guesses? If you guessed armor and weapons, you would be correct. So we have our shields here. We have all these different types of weapons with all these different types of enchants. And of course, a really neat smithy. This is the specialty smithy that you would work on all of these specialty, very, very valuable weapons up here with all different types of enchants and cool things. You'll notice that the gilded floor is a little bit lower, and that was intentional. I thought it kind of looked cool having it slightly lower. I don't know, I like it. And then the mithril armor, of course, with the mithril shield and the dragon spear, is the most valuable thing. If this is the 4th age, this mithril is inaccessible now. Numenor is gone. The mines of Moria have not been able to be accessed until just now, and so currently at this point in stage in history, these 3 items would be worth more than anything in the whole treasure room here. This is the back of the furnaces, and you have the bellows pushing air in, and then you have this tube pulling the air back out to dispose of it somewhere. And as you come around, you know, this is again the second floor of the eastern wing. And so the second floor of the eastern wing includes the second floor of the treasure room, but also includes a very special place because it is, in fact, my personal area that I hang out. So this is my little area that I spend most of my time. And the idea here is that you would, you arrive back from this map stone. You would come out, and I usually jump, but if you want to take the stairs, you can, but I usually jump. And I would grab my hop goblet, because that's the most important one. I would sing my song. And I'm doing this for a reason, because you'll notice I can let go. Now that I'm singing, it gives me options. I can open doors while I'm singing without canceling it. I can cook while I'm singing, cook a breakfast time food. I can do smithy while I'm singing, and you know, if I needed to, I could repair. And now, I'm ready to sleep. Food is cooking.
Let's sing it again!
I wait till I see the high spirits and the hero thirst are green, and I can sleep here. Now as I sleep, the food gets ready. I can eat my morning meal, and I can admire my horde. I can honor the past, and I have 5 buffs ready to go within the matter of probably a minute, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Now if you look around in this room, I have a raised ceiling there. My treasure hoard is protected by concrete bars, stone bars, another raised ceiling with a hearth behind the bed. Really cool architectural features that aren't just, you know, flat walls, but I really thought through like what to clip into what, how to build it. I left this open kind of to keep more light poking through. Really neat. And there you go. So that's my main area. As I'm end base, I drop this top roll of 10. These are the main things that I always keep with me. I actually got an extra diamond, so I don't need that anymore, but from the raid. But these are the 10 items I usually keep with me. Adamant Hammer, Brewskin of Dawnbreaker, or Brewskin of Miravar in case I need to go into shadow battling. And then all of these things basically make it so I can set up a base on the go. And it looks like some of this stuff got placed with other things. So that would be my main loadout. And I'm going to actually put it in here. Sort it. There you go. Take this one out. So all this stuff I can sort later. Actually, I have 2 mods on here, and I can show you one of them. So I have an auto sort stack mod, and if I just press the home button, this will go into like chests. So press the home, and all of that stuff gets sorted into the chests that were that you saw down here. And then the other mod that I have is a quick start mod that just skips the intro. So everything else is vanilla. All the building structures, all the other things are totally vanilla. No mods, no like really serious gameplay mods. I wanted to give you a 360 view of this armory room. And the only thing is I have the Yuletide pack. I was given that for free. So I do have the Yuletide pack to show off some of this cool stuff I built. Like tucking things into other things. Gold. Gotta build with gold if you can. I actually have a Ahun's lamp back there. So it's lighting all the way up. And I'll do a 360 of the treasure room down here. Go out and look at the dock. And then I'm going to show you the top. Alright, so the next spot that we have on our tour, you'll notice a lot of cool architectural things underneath to make things stable. I raised it up so I could get away from the shadow. And then I put lights underneath here as well, like you see one right there, a few back there, just to keep things interesting. As you're walking around, you don't notice this stuff overtly, but it does catch your eye and it keeps things interesting as you're traversing through the base. So cool little spot where there's some more weapons, a little guard station depending on what the guards need. come out here and defend against it. And this little area is another entertaining area. So the Grand Hall seats 14. This seats 10. Little outdoor dining experience. Also gives you some sort of pump access. I use an alchemic still again to just add some sort of lore to this. You know, this is how you access the pipes or do something to them. Underlit the stairs, and so as you're walking up here, this is kind of cool. The hearth doesn't, if I stand here, I think it goes dim. I forget how it works. Anyway, I put a purple light behind the hearth to give it the, there we go. That's cool, right? I just love the way that looks. So it's battling which light to allow it to dominate, but you have a cool light over there. You have 2 spots at least that you can get fresh water from in this fortress. Very important again for a defensible location to have access to fresh water. So you get access to the fresh water there. Also, it's close to, you know, where you'd be entertaining guests. A nice little spot to have a roasting pit, grand hearth for the warmth, and just a nice spot to entertain. You can see a lot of the cool structural stuff going on. And of course, it's defensible. Very strong defensive position. You could easily shoot arrows down at people and pour oil on them and all sorts of mean things that defenders do. And then you walk around this pillar that's along with that pillar over there. I built a little promenade type of thing, and I didn't want to connect this because this is my main treasure room above here, so I don't want it more accessible, I want it less accessible. So I made that less accessible, and you'll notice that even up there I didn't just make a flat wall. I used a lot of creativity to flip out decorative barriers so that the main treasure room even looks cool from the outside. And then we enter into, again, our main treasure room. I'm sorry, our main throne room. And so the final spot that we got to see is the way peak pinnacle top of this whole structure. And so let's say that you have a lady friend dwarf with a very beautiful beard. Oh, you know what? I didn't ever show you the front here. So on the front of the base, you actually have a cool little balcony area that wraps around. You can have some cool conversations, maybe private conversations here. Definitely defend it, you know, kind of a quiet spot to hang out. And in there is the second floor of the throne room, and in there is actually where that room that I built was. And you come around here. Actually, you know what? When I said that that's all the stuff I needed down there in the main forge area, I wasn't totally telling the truth, because I do have a little storage area up here for overflow, and it's mostly adamant and stone, although some ore made it into it, some silver ore, some gems, overflow gems, true quartz, and the like. This is the top of my living quarters. See a tube going into it, doing something important, right? You can kind of give a speech from up here, say some cool things. Another pipe didn't render in properly. But let's say, like I was saying, maybe you have a lady friend dwarf who has a beard as bright as brass, you know, and you want a special place to render. Well, do I have a fantastic location for you? Here we have a well-lit, beautiful place with an oven and a stove, all the nice cutlery that you can imagine. 2 types of ale you can brew up here. You have Elbreth's Blessing if you want to woo her with some very exotic flowers, and then enjoy a meal together, watching out as the Lord of RavenCrest Hall, or also known as IlúvatarKeep. So RavenCrest Hall. And there you go. With that, I suppose I will say goodbye. See y'all? Well, maybe I should face you to do that, huh? So let's do that instead. There we go. Let's say goodbye. There you are. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm going to do a little dance now. So, adios.